You're not lazy. Your brain is just trying to protect you. Every single time you set a goal, whether it's to wake up earlier, eat healthier, or build something new from scratch, your brain immediately starts calculating the energy cost. If the path forward looks uncertain, or if it seems too long and difficult, your brain pulls back. This isn't self-sabotage, it's a survival instinct. You see, your brain's primary job isn't to make you successful or famous. Its first and foremost duty is to keep you safe and conserve energy. This is the hidden psychology of motivation that most people miss. Your very biology is programmed to resist change. It prefers the known over the unknown. Deep inside your mind, there's a system that's far older than civilization itself. It's called the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. This intricate network connects crucial parts of your brain, like the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens and the prefrontal cortex. This system is what fuels the human drive to explore, to seek, to chase, to discover. And at the very heart of this entire system is dopamine. Now, you've probably heard of dopamine as the pleasure molecule, but that's a common misconception. It's actually the molecule of pursuit. It's about wanting, not having. When you just think about a goal, your dopamine levels start to rise. When you take that first small step towards it, they spike even higher. But here's the paradox, the part that trips so many of us up. When you actually reach the goal, when you cross the finish line, your dopamine levels drop. Suddenly, your brain doesn't really care about the achievement itself. It cares about the journey, the chase, the hunt. That's why you often feel so unstoppable and energized at the beginning of a project, and then feel a strange sense of emptiness or what now, once you've actually succeeded. Our brain's motivation system evolved for survival in a world of scarcity and uncertainty. It's designed to push you toward what's uncertain, like finding the next meal, not to reward you for what's already secure. This explains why staying consistent feels almost impossible sometimes. The more predictable and routine an activity becomes, the less dopamine it releases. The excitement fades. Progress starts to feel like a chore. The chase feels dull. And your mind, which craves novelty and new challenges, starts looking for the next interesting thing. We label this behavior as procrastination, burnout, or even failure. But from a biological perspective, it's just homeostasis. It's your brain resetting its baseline to avoid overstimulation and conserve its resources. It's a feature, not a bug. There was a fascinating study at Stanford that illustrates this perfectly. Researchers found that when rats pressed a lever for an unpredictable reward, their dopamine levels went through the roof. They were hooked. But as soon as the reward became guaranteed, every single press gave them a treat. Their dopamine levels flatlined. They lost interest. Your brain, just like theirs, is wired for possibility, not for predictability. It thrives on the maybe, not the definitely. So how do you stay consistent when your own biology seems to be pulling you in the opposite direction? The secret isn't to fight against your dopamine system, but to learn how to train it, to work with it, not against it. And here's how you can do it. First, embrace the power of micro-rewards. Break your big, intimidating goals into tiny, atomic steps. I mean really small. Each time you complete one of these small steps, you get a little dopamine spike. It's a signal to your brain that says, hey, we're on the right track. Keep going. Your brain doesn't know the difference between finishing a marathon and simply checking a box on your to-do list. It only tracks momentum. So, learn to celebrate your progress, not just demand perfection. Second, use a technique called habit stacking. This means you pair a new behavior you want to adopt with an existing routine you already do without thinking. Want to meditate every day? Do it for 1 minute right after you brush your teeth. Want to start writing that book? Open your notebook and write one sentence as you sip your morning coffee. Your brain loves patterns and associations. Each time you link these actions, you strengthen the neural pathways, which reduces the energy and willpower needed to start. Over time, the new action becomes automatic, a low-friction loop that runs on its own. Third, and this one is crucial in our modern world. Consider a dopamine detox. Our daily lives are a constant flood for our reward systems. Notifications, endless scrolling on social media, short-form videos, instant gratification everywhere. When you're constantly overstimulated, your baseline dopamine level actually drops. This makes you less sensitive to it. Suddenly, simple, beneficial things like reading a book, learning a new skill, or just focusing on one task feel incredibly boring and difficult. A dopamine detox helps restore your brain's natural sensitivity. Try spending a few hours or even a full day away from screens, fast entertainment, and constant noise. Allow yourself to be bored. Boredom isn't your enemy, it's your brain's reset button. In that silence, your mind relearns how to find satisfaction in effort itself, not just in the external reward. When you start applying these three principles together, micro-rewards, habit stacking, and dopamine detoxing, something incredibly powerful begins to happen. Motivation stops being a fleeting emotion you have to wait for. It becomes a reliable system you can activate on demand. You act, dopamine responds, and that creates momentum. Neuroscientists call this the behavioral activation loop. The people who seem endlessly motivated and disciplined, they aren't superhuman. They've just intuitively or intentionally mastered this loop. They don't wait until they feel ready to start. They understand a fundamental truth. Readiness is a side effect of action. Motion creates emotion, not the other way around. But there's one more layer to this, something that runs even deeper than habits and brain chemistry. And that layer is your identity. The most truly consistent people in the world don't rely on motivation at all. Their actions are simply an expression of who they believe they are. You don't have to force yourself to go for a run when you genuinely see yourself as a runner. You don't have to push yourself to create art when you deeply believe you are a creator. When your identity is aligned with your goals, action is no longer an obligation. It becomes a natural form of self-expression. The world will constantly try to sell you hacks, shortcuts, and quick dopamine hits. But real, lasting consistency comes from understanding the system that runs you. Your brain is programmable. Every single thought you have rewires it. Every choice you make reshapes its chemistry. You are both the hardware and the software coder. So the real question isn't whether you can stay motivated. It's whether you'll start rewriting your own code. Because once you understand these principles and start to apply them, consistency isn't something you have to chase anymore. It's something you become. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into the mind. See you next time.